Welcome to Not So Christian Brothers, another episode. Thanks for joining us. It is me, Justin Caffrey, and my brother from the same mother, Mr.
Yeah.
Colm Hayes.
Yes. Good morning. You just don't know when people are listening or watching this. So hello. That's it, really, isn't it?
Quite
Just
weird
hello.
because it's actually afternoon at the moment, but that's okay. You're
Well, we're
obviously
all in
thinking
Zoom,
in the
so
future.
we could be geographically dislocated. So who knows? And we have a lot of people listening over in America on YouTube or viewing us on YouTube, where you saw something the other day that was quite interesting, Jay, about
Well, not just the other day. I mean, last night,
yeah.
the President of America, Donald Trump, in case
Hmm.
anybody's unsure about that, posted a picture of himself on Truth Social as Jesus.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in, for the not-so-Christian brothers.
Healing sick people in the bed, people looking up to him with adoration, and interestingly, which I don't necessarily believe, there's much kind of detail about this in olden times. Warplanes flying over his head.
Okay. Warplanes flying over his head while he was healing people in the bed.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So on one hand, he's here to heal you. On the other hand, he might kill you.
He might obliterate an entire civilization while he's healing you. Yeah.
While he's healing you, and I can't really imagine, Michelangelo or somebody being drawn back to, creating such a wonderful image of a biblical setting, with the annihilation of a race on one side and the healing of a loved one on the other. But hey, this is where we are. This is Trump, right? And Pope Leo today.
Yeah.
Who's an American, right? He's a bro from.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Chicago.
Is he Peruvian? Oh, no, Chicago. I thought he's Peruvian or South American.
No. He's full on
Down with the
USA.
homies.
Yeah, and so they're now in a spat.
Right.
And Pope Leo today said to Trump, I'm not really going to get drawn into this because I don't really think that the Gospels are there for use as a means of war, because Hegseth's been quoting them. Trump thinks he's Jesus.
Yeah.
So where is the world right now?
Did you ever think if there was sort of phones around in those days, Jesus would have, put a meme up of himself as Moses, or somebody great? I mean, is it just because there's phones now we can do that, I mean, I'd like to put a meme up of me being John Lennon, and saying, I mean, obviously I haven't started songwriting yet, but when I do, it'll be in the style of John. I think Trump's okay doing that. I sort of like when he does that sort of stuff.
But I think it's easier to be Jesus nowadays, because
it is. Tell me about it.
You don't have to walk on water. You don't have to do the loaves and fishes. You just have to be down with TikTok.
Yeah. And sorry, there's some great stuff on TikTok. Have you seen Jesus on TikTok?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's an eternal being, so he's probably giving it a go.
So there's a guy has created Jesus on TikTok. It's an AI Jesus. And you see the lads all going for a swim in the Sea of Galilee, all the 12 lads going for a swim in the Sea of Galilee. And they go, oh, Jesus, here he comes. And Jesus just boots across the water. And you have him at the Last Supper as well. And he's sort of giving out to everybody. It's a very clever, and they have him rising. It wasn't it Lazarus, bringing Lazarus out, and everyone going, "Oh my God, what has he done?" And he sort of gives Lazarus a little wink on Lazarus on the way out his lift. Yeah, we got them on that one, didn't we? It's all set up. It's very clever. Follow Jesus on TikTok, and your mind will change.
Yeah. But I think look, the Trump having an argument with the Pope, it's right up there. Like, we're just in this world, right? Melania came out with her commentary the other day about, do not, no, definitely abstain. I was not connected to him. I mean,
was she having an aneurysm?
She is a mentalist, right?
My brain, and oh God, at the moment.
She's allegedly a mentalist. Let's just clear that so we don't get sued again. She's allegedly a mentalist.
Who's a mentalist? I think we got to remove allegedly all, because we need another court case. Just go for it. I mean, do you know this thing as well? Because when you say allegedly, but just look at the things the accusations that people have across TikTok. Well, even the accusations that Trump has. Trump didn't say allegedly on Jesus. He just said, "I'm Jesus," you know.
Allegedly.
No, but he didn't say allegedly.
Well, he just posted a picture of Jesus. He didn't actually make a comment underneath it. But the Melania thing is interesting because you know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So the Trumps, Melania especially, when somebody upsets them, they just file $1 billion lawsuit against them, right?
Yeah.
And then they send their lawyers after you. But Michael Wolff, who is Trump's biographer, and Michael Wolff has written about Steve Jobs and Rupert Murdoch, and Elon Musk, so superb biographer who runs a great podcast called Inside Trump's Head,
Right.
which is astoundingly interesting because Wolf spent an awful lot of time with Trump. But Michael Wolff has said, and allegedly, that Melania was a prostitute.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Should we throw in allegedly there? Nah, forget it.
Allegedly.
I just said allegedly.
Oh, did
right?
you? Oh,
Yeah, I did.
oh, sorry. I was just looking her up online there. Sorry, go ahead.
So, and
See
that
what she allegedly charges.
She was introduced
Jesus.
by Epstein to Trump, right? And
Oh my God.
the amazing part about this is that so in in New York, there is what's called the anti-slap legislation, which means that if somebody sues you for an excessive amount of money in order to just gag you, you have the right to sue them back and seek discovery to see if they're telling the truth or a lie. Now, it's expensive, but Michael Wolff did a crowd raising, like a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
And raised $1 million and is now defending his case. And his comment, which was only on this week on their podcast, Inside Trump's Head, which is, what's that media company called? I can't remember what they're called. But they did the podcast on Saturday. And he is saying that he suspects that they're going to receive discovery this week. And he thinks one of the things she might be trying to get ahead of is that in the discovery, there might be her prenuptial agreement and details about her existence before the wedding.
Oh,
so she knows that stuff is going to come out this week.
But I mean, you can't hide anything anymore. Surely there would be some background information of who she was and what she was up to. And, you know, I mean, surely just a quick phone call to Candace Owens will reveal everything that she is and what her shape her genitalia is, even genitalia. You know what but Candace knows all these things, you know?
But people, they disappear people. A lot of people have disappeared around that circle. And
disappeared? So he's disappearing people now? Oh, so he's going to come out next as David Copperfield.
Well, you know, look, if you, as Trump would say, look into it, you'll find that there are people who have disappeared. And right after the Melania thing, Trump retweeted a video of so the other backstory behind the Melania thing is that her best friend of 20 years was shopped in by an ICE agent and deported whilst they were inside a legal battle for paternity rights of their child. And this was Melania's best friend of 20 years, very close to Trump. And this woman was brought into the country, allegedly, but says she was, by Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Yeah.
And then her and Melania are friends for years. Her partner shops her into ICE, gets her deported. And then she starts tweeting on Friday that she has all the dirt on Melania and she's going to spill it all. And then Trump tweets a picture thereafter of a Haitian man beaten to death an American woman in a petrol station, like bludgeoning to death that person. And then the insinuation that some people have picked up on is that a subtext to this might happen to you? Allegedly.
Oh, really? Like, is he that threatening? God. Yeah, well, I suppose he is, actually. He's deported kids and everything, hasn't he, down into those strange prisons?
He's killed thousands of people in wars.
Ah, did he mean to, though? Yeah. I'm just trying to save my skin here, you know? I have to go down to Circle K later on. I don't want two ICE agents to come over and beat the crap out of me. Sorry, wasn't there over the weekend some crazy, I just saw some crazy protests, like there was 1 million people out in the street against the wars, and like it, you know, I mean, we've had protests here and we've had the obviously they're ongoing at the moment. And they seem to have got a little bit of what they want. Whether that means they're successful or that means it has worked is completely different. But you can still protest as much as you want, and the people you're protesting against won't go away. Do you know what I mean? Like it's they're protesting against Trump. Wasn't there 1 million people out in the streets with the whole Iranian thing, and he's then just sending out little memes of himself as Jesus. I think you can protest against some people, like against Simon Harris and our lad Micheál Martin, and they sort of buckle within a couple of days. And then you can protest against Trump, and he'll never buckle. So I don't think sometimes the protests work. I think it's who you're protesting against.
Yeah, I think that is the case. I think, look, in Ireland as well, we're a very liberal society, so we're not really big on sending in the police or the military to break up protests. And there was some element of that over the weekend, but you can imagine if that was in the UK or Germany, they would have been a lot more heavy-handed more quickly to break up the protests. So I think there is a bit more liberalism in terms of our beliefs, but it's also a European thing. I mean, and look at Europe has protested as well, right? Hungary, 16 years of Viktor Orban, and
gone, yeah,
and he's out.
Yeah,
that's democracy at work. That's people making a decision. I actually don't think it's a good thing for Europe, to be honest, but I think it's a good thing for Hungarian people.
Good thing for Europe, but he was sort of anti-EU.
He was, right, but there's a contrarian in me that always feels you should have somebody who makes it difficult for everybody just to get a consensus quickly and get things expedited. I think we set ourselves up now for a potential military conflict with Russia or anybody else because everybody will just agree. And there's a lot of movement in Europe to be more controlling. So I think having somebody in the camp who makes life difficult is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but he was pro-Putin. I mean, Orban was pro-Putin. He was anti-gay. He was anti-EU. Given another 2 years, he was going to drag Hungary out of the EU, and that was going to cost hell for stags going to Budapest. I mean, it really was going to be difficult. They were going to have to change their money, and if you were going over there, you couldn't have a gay stag, or you couldn't have a penis attached to your head, like an inflatable one, like they do in Prague. So I always think, what is the economic effect on a stag in that country, and what's the overall, condition then? And but I think there's enough people crazy in the EU, but not as crazy as Orban to stop it. I mean, I can never see Emmanuel Macron ever agreeing to invade anywhere.
Oh, I disagree. I think when the chips are down and he's about to lose his ability to reign, especially, if he loses that election, he's going to get another right hook on that chin. So he's got to be thinking, how will the missus feel about it?
Is he married to a woman?
Come on now.
Good morning, Candace Owens. I know, yeah. But isn't it? Okay, I will go there. Anyway, yeah. So, how did you feel about the protests? I thought what's wonderful about the protests across Europe and Ireland, it was an incredible advertisement for Massey Ferguson and the power of the tractor. I mean, this year is the year of the tractor.
Are you drinking? Are you drinking?
But I've just
Massey Ferguson, like we're literally talking about a massive political movement across the country. Sorry for interrupting the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just producer Bex. And you're talking about Massey Ferguson's, for fuck's sake.
And also, I saw this thing. I also, all the tractors came up to Dublin. I'm probably going to be attacked now. All the tractors came up to Dublin and they left them overnight on the streets, right? The reason being they knew that there's no Dubliner has any idea how to turn on and drive a tractor. They basically left the keys in the tractors. And there was Dubliners walking around, and then there's a couple of lads going, "Jeez, I'm not taking those tires. They'll never fit on a Ford Fiesta." And then the irony is that most of those tractors go around a field 4 times and don't use that amount of fuel. They drove the feckin' things like 600 miles and 600 back. They used more petrol. They can't get back home now. You know what I mean? I've seen two Massey Fergusons out in the M50, and there's 2 families living in them now because they're big enough. And the farmers don't want them back because they can't afford to drive them back because of the petrol. So Michael Lowry's going to fly them down in his helicopter.
Okay. Interesting hypotheses there. But I think the whole tractor thing, I think the farmers, it just shows that we're still in a banana republic, right? You can still just clog up the roads, kick up a stuff in a fight, and then things start changing. And it's a disaster because the minute you start to capitulate, this goes on and on. Like today, after the 500 million that's been awarded to them and the carbon fuel has been postponed, fuel tax has been postponed, they're still not moving. There's still protests today because they want more. But there isn't actually a definitive figure on what more is. And you can't just deal with people on the streets, because if you do, well, it's French Revolution territory then.
I know. I think they're taking a leaf out of the French truckers' books. I think they'll be happy. And again, I'm not being facetious.
I meant more the kind of Marie Antoinette revolution.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Not the French truckers.
Give them cake type thing. But...
Yeah. You think about the French, whenever they want anything to happen, they just go, tell the air traffic controllers to just, go and have a croissant, and then all of Europe is completely destroyed because everyone has to sort of go around the air traffic controllers in France. I got delayed this weekend because of that. But I also have this other thing that the last thing the farmers want, they're getting the excise reduced, they're getting all that, and you're right, Justin. What else do they want? Now, apparently, I don't know if this is for real, but they want the price of Benson and Hedges and John Player Blue reduced because they're the only cigarettes they smoke. They're fine with everything else, all those posh cigarettes like, the Silco Purple. But yeah, so if they can get Benson and Hedges...
Woodbines probably as well.
You can't get Woodbines anymore.
Can you not?
I don't think so, no. No, I don't think you can get Woodbines anymore. But I think they're Benson and Hedges and John Player Blue. Reduce those by €3, drop the excess, and maybe drop the pint at Murphy's, and they'll be fine. I'm going to get attacked, aren't I?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're great lads, and I support them.
Yeah.
But also, look, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in these protests. Yeah. You see the flag hanging upside down out of the cranes. This is the nationalism that started in the US and is now in the UK. So when you see this crane in the sky and the flag hanging from the crane upside down,
yes,
this is a sign of right-wing populism, and it's coming, right? Like, this is the thing is, you start at this point, this is coming. There's enough of a groundswell in this country, and they're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually, we're going to have people building parties and causing problems.
I thought the flag upside down was sort of a sign as we welcome only our immigrant friends from Ivory Coast.
Maybe that is. I mean,
because it is the Ivory Coast flag.
People there.
Oh my God.
Because,
or perhaps Italy. I don't know. Is it kind of?
Oh no, it's not Italy. No. Literally, just flip the Irish flag around as the Ivory Coast.
So we're saying we're not full.
We're saying only we like the Ivory Coast lads because they're pretty handy at soccer, and we wouldn't have been beat by the Czech Republic if we had a third generation Ivory Coast lad playing up on the right wing. That's my theory. Maybe it's wrong.
Just lads, no women, just the lads.
Bring the women in as well. You might as well. Sorry, we need the women.
They'd make more new lads. So we
need them to make the new lads.
We need like under 12s and under 15s team coming through.
But just on a serious note. Oh, no, there isn't one. No. So I was just thinking. But if you look back over history, right, I mean, the protests, they have achieved, right? They have overturned, you look at the Arab Springs now, where are they now, after that? But I mean, you look at, even, let's say, Romania during, was it Ceausescu's regime, the Berlin Wall, that protest was brought down peacefully. That wall came down quicker than a garden wall, and then
Cuba.
Sorry, who?
Cuba.
Yes, yeah, and
I thought you said your ma. I was like,
I thought you said your ma. I was going to go, no, your ma. Yeah, my ma was brought down quicker down the back wall. Yeah,
your ma went down quicker than the black wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your ma was as fat as the Berlin Wall. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. But like you were talking about the civil rights movements and all the marches and all the protests, there's enough in history to show. I suppose you're not going to protest if you don't think there's a history of actually achieving something,
No, or you've just got nothing else to do.
I have a question for you both. We're going to talk about
Good.
this
Sorry,
in the
go on.
after show, but I have a question for you both, as we do every week. We pose a question, a conundrum, but I do have a lot to say about your views on the protests. I mean, honest to God, this is quite the response, Colm Hayes.
Thank you.
Justin was very measured. So my question to you is, and people always say this and it sounds a bit woo-woo and it sounds a little bit therapy, but what was the best thing that has ever happened to you? And you both have to answer. But at the time, it did not seem like the best thing. It seemed like it was the end of days and threw you completely off, but actually turned out to be the right path. Can you answer that?
Whew. That's a tough one. You're waiting for me, aren't you, Justin?
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for you. Yeah. Is it sometimes when something happens and you gain resolve from it, you actually, the harder they fall, the whatever the blah blah blah, you get up stronger. I mean, I do remember years and years ago in a previous radio station when I was doing a breakfast show, which was failing dramatically in the ratings, and one of the board took me out for a coffee and a chat. And he said, I won't say who it is because people would know him. But anyway, he said, look, I've worked for years and years with talented people. And I was going, this is really nice here. And I can sense even when somebody walks into a room that, they have talent. And I was going, oh, this is lovely. And he says, I'm going to tell you, from meeting you and listening to you, I know that you don't have any. And I was, what? Hello? And he went, yeah. And I just think probably somebody needs to sit down and say that to you, and maybe you should consider a career change. Now, the shareholder, our board member who actually said that is no longer with us. But anyway, I sort of walked out of the meeting. I was in the Westbury Hotel. I was quite a young broadcaster, and I walked out of the meeting completely like, what the hell? Where am I going with this, and what chosen path, and who, and what? But within sort of a day or two, I resolved to prove he was wrong, and I haven't got there yet, but I know one day I will. But I wanted to prove that he was wrong, and so that resolved rather than going. Ugh. So in some way, things were going all over the place, and in some way, by him saying that to me, I went, no, that's it. No, this is a really bad point in my career. I'm right here at the road of choosing, listen to him and he's right and he's such a multi-millionaire and that's okay and off I go, or no, absolutely no, I'm going to prove you wrong, I'm going to go the other way, So I always remember that as a defining moment.
Nice. Yeah, and I think I think always at the intersection of pain is opportunity, right? It's like, okay, this is a real difficult moment. I'm handed a bit of a shit sandwich here. And I've had loads of them, especially in business and my personal life, loads and loads of times. But I think a funny one I remember, so the last time I ever had a job where somebody paid me a salary was, I think it was 1999. And I worked for a bank, and the sales director at the time we didn't really see eye to eye, right? And I wasn't. In fairness, I probably wasn't the most easiest human being to manage. But
Dear God, really?
I know that's hard. I know
it's so difficult to really contemplate.
I know. I can be a little bit difficult at times. So we ended up in an argument in his office, and I just said to him, you know what? You can stick your job where the sun don't shine. I'm out of here. And I took a piece of paper out of a printer, wrote a resignation letter, and threw it on his desk and walked out, right? And I left the office and I got into my car and I was driving out of there thinking, man, that was just badass.
Okay. Who'd you think you were? James Bond or something? Yeah.
I thought I was really badass, but then as I was driving along, I thought, okay, a couple of things I hadn't fully factored in at this point. One, the car that I'm driving was a company car. So I wasn't even entitled to be driving it anymore.
Yeah.
Two, I didn't have a job or any money to go to thereafter. And I was going back to my home where I have a mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
And I think, you can make these tough decisions, and you can make these rash decisions at times. And I went home, and I can still remember feeling pretty anxious about that moment and that reality as the initial bravado wore off. But then you get over it, right? You figure a way around it. You just have to change. You have to adapt. It's human nature. We either adapt or die.
Adapt or die. Yeah.
So I think sometimes life just puts it up to you.
Yeah, and like when we look back, I think we all okay. So regard my day that day, and you robbing the company car that particular day, which technically you had robbed it, and this will be reported. But we have to view it that if we don't, even 20 years, 30 years later, that we'll see the positive way that it got. Like if I chosen my career and, let's say, taken up carpentry, I could have been an amazing carpenter, and at this moment in time, I could be, building the White House ballroom and helping out there, with the tables. But
you were the most diabolically useless person at a practical level I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, but he thinks he's Jesus now, so he's going to be a carpenter. So he's a bit of a Trump.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Jesus the carpenter. No, but what I'm saying is, obviously, I would have put my mind to being a carpenter, right? And
but your body would not have followed.
No, I don't need to now. Yeah, or not necessarily a labor job, maybe whatever. But I think whatever choice we make,
a labor job, like what would you see yourself as?
Watching women in labor. I don't know.
What, in the Labor Party? Like, because definitely not working with your hands. Like, in the labor, definitely not.
I'm trying to make a really serious point and groundbreaking podcast here. Okay, let's not say labor. Okay, let's say drinking. Right. So I put my mind. I put my mind. A barman.
Yeah,
a great.
There we go. Yeah.
You'd be a shit barman because you'd start talking to someone about something. You go off track. I'd be waiting for my whiskey sour. Someone else would be ordering a G&T. You'd be talking to someone else. Then you'd be chatting up. I don't mean to be funny, but Colm, I don't think you have it in you to be a good barman, a good labor man. I don't know.
I'm taking from this that actually I probably chose the right path.
Yeah, I think look, you didn't listen to the wise oracle who was trying to steer you off the path, right? And that's it. I think it's like that. There's always people who are going to come in your way and tell you can't do this, you can't do that, this won't work out, that won't work out, and it's up to you to choose to listen or to ignore.
Yeah. But sorry, what I'm saying is,
I thought that was a really good place to end, but okay, keep going.
What I'm saying is that was such a great place to end. Yes, and I'm happy to end there, and I'll do what I wanted to really say into the after show.
I just want to say, I thought that was quite a tricky question, and I think you both answered it in a way that I feel like I've learned something, because obviously I'm a little bit younger, and I'm like, God, that's an interesting learning. I know you're both being kind of whimsical and funny, but you're also being deadly serious about those things that happened. I think lots of people listening to the pod right now are going through something, because everybody is going through something, an impasse or an emotional thing or a grief or a challenge. And it's interesting to hear from two people who I would consider successful, like how this thing happened, and it's the biggest thing in your life at the time, or it's really, and actually you got through it. And I just think it's interesting what the answers were, like, and how Justin says, like, what else are you going to do? But I do think, Justin, you're stronger than most. Some people really do fall to their feet when things happen.
Yeah, but I think life tests you like that, right? Eventually, you keep falling to your feet. At some point, you have to adapt a different strategy, right? So I think yes, at that stage, I was arrogant enough to do that, but I probably had enough moments in my earlier life where I was corralled or bullied into a situation I didn't want to be in, and that was my moment where I thought, you know what, I don't care anymore. I want to be the master of my own destiny. But that doesn't happen overnight. You're not born like that. Like you have to build that resilience. You have to kind of be through the flames of difficulty, and you have to be punished enough to then think, okay, no more. Now I want things on my terms.
Yeah. I remember somebody saying to me once, failure is never built on success, but success is all built on failure.
Here's hoping, eh? Okay, so we'll see you all on Sunday for the
Like, subscribe, listen, tell your people about it. Yes, this is Not So Christian Brothers, two brothers, different names, Colm Hayes and Justin Caffrey. And yeah, so we'll be on the after show. Do we call it the after show party? No, we just call it the after show, don't we? Yeah, okay.